GG's The Mouthful podcast is brought to you by goodgame.tech, the most welcoming gaming community on Facebook. Join the conversation at www.goodgame.tech.
But you know,
What's up, everyone? This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is going to be the real episode 89 of GG's The Mouthful podcast.
If I wasn't dying right now, I would have done something.
GG! Yes, of course, that voice next to me is Miss Krista Montanez, aka Shadow 24/7. I was going to say Dream Twister.
Yeah, because someone had to, go on vacation.
I know. Traveling the world. I mean, what kind of crap is that? On our dime, too. No, just kidding. Of course, unfortunately, Mr. Dream Twister is not with us today. He is in Mexico, doing what the Mexicans do, which is, I guess, drink and party, and he's hanging with his wife. He's celebrating his 1-year anniversary with his wife, and I wish him all the best, him and her all the best.
Yeah, as long as he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, I think,
no worries.
Yeah. I've seen the pictures. Looks like he is. Guys, if this is your first time listening to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. Please go to goodgame.tech and join the conversation there. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the show with wherever you listen to it, if it's on YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. We're going to start today with what we're always going to start with. We were going to do a much longer show because I had something real nice planned, unfortunately, but he is on vacation. We'll save that for next week. It's going to be a great show, but we do have a lot of things to talk about. But as always, we'll start with what we have been up to. I think I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So I finished...
No worries about that.
Night in the Woods.
Oh, did you?
I did.
How'd you like it?
I really did like it. I really dig it. It wouldn't. I don't think it would have made a big difference, other than maybe an honorable mention on my top of 2017. But definitely, it would have made it up there, at least for an honorable mention. I really dug it. It took a really odd turn towards the end there. I wasn't sure what they actually were going for, but I still enjoyed it. It ended kind of abruptly. Like I was like, oh, credits, okay, but. Well, I guess the overall main plot had already wrapped up. I guess I just wanted a longer
point across.
Yeah, I wanted a longer wrap up. Is what it was. But other than that, no, I did enjoy it. I definitely recommend it for those who enjoy those type of Shadow. I know you are definitely into it, so you should definitely invest.
Oh, definitely, I want to get it.
Yeah, put a little bit of money aside. A little bit of money aside, and pick that up because I really. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I like those smaller titles like that, easily digestible. And now I think I'm going to go focus on getting on some Titanfall 2, so I don't hear anything from a certain gentleman. But yeah, so that's really all I was doing, finishing that. I watched a lot of TV, but I already talked about most of that. I did see Thor Ragnarok, not Thor 2, Thor Ragnarok.
How was that?
It was really different, and I think it was on purpose that they went with it that way. It was very. By the way, guys, if you're listening to me and it sounds a little bit grainy, we have a little bit technical issues here with the soundboard, but we promise we'll get this cleaned up, especially for the next time. But going back to Thor, the biggest issue that I guess it's an issue, is how comical they went with the movie when. It really wasn't that kind of comedy before. Even the Hulk was in it, and even he was a little bit like humorous, but I was just like, is this how the Hulk normally is? I mean, because I'm trying to remember in the comics, but...
But remember when they kept trying to, when their advertisement had a lot of that, 90s or 80s?
Yeah. Oh, the 80s synth feel, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that...
No,
should have been
they lean. Yeah,
on that.
It was, but I was just like, okay, maybe it's gonna hint at these items, be a little bit like that. But it really went that way. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot on it, but it's so different. and I don't know, maybe it's what Thor needed, because I didn't really care for Thor 2, and Thor 1 was okay. And I think that's why people really enjoyed this one, because it really just it was very different. If you've seen the trailer, you know that he gets, first off, he gets a haircut.
Yeah, that
looks much better
like
this way. But
the biggest thing that happens.
yeah. Well, there's more, but I'm not going to spoil anything here. But it's also because it's not, I'm not spoiling anything specific, but it does introduce a major change to the Marvel universe. That if, like, the last major change, if you've seen the other movies, was Winter Soldier to me, where it apparently Hydra was, embedded and hidden in within Shield, and when that got revealed, it was like, holy crap, because you've already seen Shield since Iron Man, the first Iron Man, and everything was like, okay, these guys are fairly good, and of course, if you were watching Agents of Shield, you know that they're a decent team. And then when that happens, it's like, holy crap, the world has gone, what you thought you knew, you really don't know. And here is very similar to that, not to that specifically, but there's a change that happens. It goes, holy crap, I did not see that coming. There's something happened in the past, and it's showing its face. So I definitely recommend it, because I think it clearly leads into what's going to be the next Avengers, the Infinity War.
I was going to ask if it ties in well to the next one.
It leaves things off in a certain way where it's like, okay, I can definitely see how this will lead into the Infinity War. Nothing specific. There's no characters that I've seen in Infinity War that would come up. There are some cameo appearances from some other Marvel heroes, which was pretty interesting, which I enjoyed. But yeah, I recommend it. It's very different. But if you like, what's the name of that 80s Flash Gordon? So if you like Flash Gordon, I think you definitely enjoy this rendition of the Thor series, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. But that's all. That's all I've really been up to. It's been a slow week. Just trying to get back into work, and this cold. I don't know if you people know, but Florida's cold, and I know this is probably going to sound like a silly complaint from a Floridian. You know what I mean? Complaining about 30-something degrees when the rest of the
complain about that.
Yeah, when the rest of the U.S. is like below zero. I was speaking to some people today from up north, and they're like, it's 14 below. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, they've been getting all those blizzards.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's been a slow week because of that. So yeah, that's all I've been up to. What you been up to?
I know, like, the biggest thing is that I streamed over the weekend.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, twice.
Yes.
Because, like, I didn't want to leave it off with just that, getting bored of that, and then, I say, all right, I'm on. But I do want to do that more in the future.
Okay, that's good. Now, you do whatever you want. Especially that Crash Bandicoot. Apparently, someone had mentioned that they had some difficulty on that one particular level that you were in.
It is very hard.
Is it really?
I think I was close to beating it, and then I died. So it's difficult. Because, like I said, and you can see it, you have to be quite precise on where you jump. Where you
land, yeah.
Where you land.
I got you.
Annoying.
Have you been able to pass it since, though?
No, I haven't really been playing much. Like, I think the only thing game-wise is that I did my placements for Overwatch, and that was it.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I haven't really been playing much either.
The other one you play, Zodiarc's, really, you spent a good 3 hours on that. That looked really good.
Yeah.
That looked really good.
Yeah, it is a good game, but I have to, like, have, I guess, the patience, because you can see that, like, I lost, like, 3 times on that one before I called it quits.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot of patience, and then once you've died and you did everything and you're towards the end and then you die, you really don't want to play anymore.
No, I hear you. Definitely. Still, it looked pretty interesting, and I'm glad you shared that. Feel free. Like I said, would love to continue to put more content out there with you playing some games. Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
right, guys, we're going to go into some news. Got a few pieces here. So slow start to the new year, but the wheels do keep turning, as they say. I wanted to bring up some information I found here. This was on Polygon. They listed the 10 most popular downloads of PS4 from 2017. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is downloads. It has zero to do with critical acclaim or money. It's just the most downloaded. And some of them obviously are going to be kind of obvious, yeah. But there's one that kind of stuck out, and I was like, yeah, and that's kind of what the article was about on Polygon. But the number, I will go from 10 to 1. Number 10 was Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Number 9 was Madden NFL 18. Number 8 is Minecraft, the PS4 edition.
I'm not surprised there.
People are still downloading that damn thing. Number 6 was Rocket League. Number 5 was NBA 2K18. Number 4 was number 4. Wait, this out of those. So that's 10 is Wildlands. 9 was Madden. 8 was Minecraft. 7 was Rocket League. 6 was NBA 2K18. 5 was Grand Theft Auto 5. 4 was Horizon Zero Dawn. And the surprise one, number 3, Friday the 13th, the game. And then number 2.
I'm not surprised there because I've had a few people who play that game. That and Dead by Daylight.
I've heard, yeah, and I think last year that what was it? Death by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight.
What was the full name? Wasn't it something?
Dead by Daylight.
That's the name of it? Okay.
Yeah, that's just the name of it.
Okay, yeah. So I remember hearing that one for last year, that it came out at an early time and a lot of people were downloading. But yeah, Friday the 13th, my son plays it. He loves the hell out of it. He plays it with his friends, and they're always laughing and tripping on the game itself.
I've had a few people say, "Oh, get the game, get it." Honestly, I don't like horror games, and 2, it's just continuous. You know, play the same. I know it will probably be the same. Oh, but you play Overwatch. That's different.
No, yeah, there's no way. I mean, it's more of like Evolve.
Or like a hide and seek kind of thing.
Yeah, because you have one person who controls Jason, and then you have a bunch of camp counselors, which I think maybe there's 6 or something like that.
I've seen gameplay, but I know like continuous play of it, it looks like it'll get boring.
I don't know. That number kind of I don't know. Kind of says that a lot of people. Well, I mean, I want to give it a shot. I mean, it's not expensive, and they made some improvements on it as well.
$20-$30.
Yeah, I mean,
and especially since I know on Friday the 13th you'll have the most popular thing from people who got bored of the game. They would friendly fire. They'll kill their own teammates.
Oh, I think they eliminated that.
Yes, they
did. Yeah, they had to eliminate that because
people got bored.
Because pretty much. Number 2 was Destiny 2, and number 1 was Call of Duty World War II. What a surprise. But yes, I just wanted to bring that up because I was a little bit taken back by the Friday the 13th, but I think I actually might buy into it because, like I said, I mean, everybody seems to be enjoying it, and maybe we can get a GG group going on this.
If it was recently, then the game could have also been on sale.
Oh, it's been. Well, I haven't seen it. That's actually, I take that back. I haven't seen it on any of the PS4 sales for the holidays. It wasn't none of the ones that I saw that was listed. Could have been at one point, but still, I mean, to fall right behind just Destiny 2 and World of War 2. And then hey, Horizon Zero Dawn. It beat out Horizon Zero Dawn, which came out in February. You know. Also,
a lot of people are getting it because of the complete edition that came out recently
for the Friday the 13th
for Horizon.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it beat that out, even though that clearly had a lot of people buying into it. But yeah, so that's my first piece there. What you got over there, Shadow?
I don't know if you guys know, or even heard of Mad Catz, but apparently it's back from the dead.
Mad Catz? Isn't that don't they make like controllers or something like that?
Yes, they do. And this is from Polygon, by the way.
Okay.
So they make controller, like the knockoff controllers.
Oh yeah, I got
fight
you.
sticks, kind of like Afterglow, like those knockoff.
The ones with the turbo buttons and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the clunky feeling. But apparently their fight sticks are really good. So they filed for bankruptcy and shut down in March 2007, but they are back and now known as Mad Catz Global Limited.
Oh, so they're all around the world.
Yes, and they've announced a few new line of products yesterday. So new
Is it
controllers.
for all control? Do they have any Switch stuff too, or just your regular PS4, Xbox 360? I mean, you know.
We'll
what I mean.
see. They probably will in the time coming.
If
I wouldn't
Nintendo allows
I
it,
wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah, they
At least
'cause Nintendo they already did with the GameCube adapter. They pulled out a whole bunch of knockoff GameCube controllers and all that.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe they come out with it. I never invested in those. I mean, I know people do because they tend to be a little bit.
I don't
a little
really
bit cheaper.
either, but I know that I think about a few months ago I gave a controller that I had for the PS3. It was an Afterglow.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I don't really like doing knockoffs. I prefer from the company itself because sometimes knockoffs can malfunction. But I really enjoyed it, and then I gave it to him, and he really enjoyed it too.
Well, if it works. Well, did it feel good too? Because I've had some that I haven't had those. I don't really get into it, but I felt some that go, "Ooh, this feels kind of cheap." You know, it doesn't feel as good and sturdy as
No,
real.
it was clear case, obviously,
Okay.
but it was small. It was nice. It fit well in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like after this, I can show you it if he's not if he's not using it.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah, I can see it. I had, I think my first time and again, I didn't own this. Somebody had it, and they stuck me with it. It was this horrible third-party Sega Genesis controller
Oh
that
no!
had nothing on the D-pad. It was like this. I don't know what it was, and the funny thing is that Seth from Tennessee, somebody turned it into him, and one day he just sent it to me just as a gag. He goes, "Hey man, you could use this for your. It was such a horrible controller." So that's, I think, when I remember dealing with those is kind of what turned me off to really trying any of the Mad Catz. But it's a shame because I never heard bad things about them specifically. It's just I always kind of put them in the third party categories. Like, I'm not gonna invest in that.
I remember I got a GameCube controller from GameStop, their own GameCube.
brand. Mm-hmm.
It was so clunky. It
Yeah.
was so just big and just I didn't like it
You
at
didn't
all.
like
Like you know how GameCube controllers are. They're nice, smooth. They fit well in your hand. This was not like I did not want to play with it at all.
Wow. Yeah, you just reminded me that I ended up getting a used one from them so that I can use on my PC. Because now you have the ability through Steam to use your PS4 controller, but before that was ever patched in, I had no way of playing games, and I don't do. I mean, I can if I need to do keyboard and mouse. I don't like to do keyboard and mouse, so I was like, oh, let me just go get some cheap, Xbox controller. And I ended up getting it, and I realized when I got home that it wasn't an Xbox controller. It was the GameStop's Xbox controller, like their version of it. And it wasn't horrible. As I ended up giving it to Mark, or I think he ended up taking it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
if I know which one you're talking about, I think I've used it a few times.
Yeah.
But
Wasn't
I
horrible.
just thought it was a regular Xbox controller.
It looks
'cause
like
looks
one.
like
Yeah,
one.
I know they did that on purpose to try to trick us. That's what that was.
Yeah, as
well,
long
that's
as it
tricked me.
feels good,
It did. I mean, it looked
no
just
complaining,
like one, yeah.
really.
I enjoy. And I just realized that now. I was like, that's right. They tricked me. They did actually have one. Speaking of Xbox Games with Gold they actually were announced last week, but Game of the Year. This month they are going to have. Let's begin with the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3. This is Neocore's 2015 conclusion to its Dracula trilogy. It will also be available free. Well, it will be available free Xbox Live subscribers all month long for Xbox One. The other Xbox One game for the month is Zombie, Zombi. I remember that. Didn't it have that? Wasn't it originally called Zombie U?
It was for the Wii U.
For the Wii U, okay. I thought I was
It
looking at it
was.
like, who? Yeah, all right. So the 2015 current generation port of Ubisoft's Wii U launch titles, Zombie U. Here it goes. It's right on the article itself. That one will go free from January 16th through February 15th. And then on Xbox 360 side, the gold members will be able to download Tomb Raider Underworld for free from January 1st to the 15th, so available right now. Then on the second half of January, the 360 game will be Army of Two, the original Army of Two, which is from EA Montreal, which launched back in 2008. And of course, as always, these are backwards compatible via the Xbox 360 backwards
I don't
compatibility.
know how I feel about that whole lineup.
I don't know anything about Van Helsing 3.
I don't know either.
There's three parts to this, and I'm learning about Van Helsing on the third part, so I'm not sure. Now, Zombie U, was that? I feel like that was an okay game. I mean, I never had a Wii U,
I
but
never really.
I never
played
heard.
it
Yeah,
or
I never
seen
heard
it.
bad things about it. Did you?
I know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was there and then it wasn't there.
Yeah, I remember what kind of threw it off was because the Wii U had the gamepad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the gamepad had a screen, and there was like this whole new function that you can use the gamepad for. And I was like, okay, well, that looks pretty decent. Of course, the Wii U never sold. Mm-hmm. So,
I know Army of Two though. That's good.
never played any of the Army of Twos. There were three, right? I know one was like the Devil's Cartel,
three.
and then
Yeah,
whatever
about
the other
three.
was.
I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
They're good though, because it's like, you have two people. You can either play with you and AI or you and a friend.
Yeah, so it's like the original. It's okay. So it's like the original co-op game, basically.
Yeah.
Not the original
And
co-op game,
it's fun though.
yeah.
It really is a fun game.
I have to look at it. I remember hearing that it was a very funny game, like joking the characters.
Yeah,
were
they
kind of
they always joked because they're like the bros.
the bros, the dude bros.
Yeah, that's how they are. So they always joke around with each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. They all had weird masks too, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
Okay. Yeah, I
the,
remember.
the masks are not bad either. They're pretty nice. So.
No, yeah, they look pretty badass if I remember. Yeah. But yeah, so Xbox owners rejoice! You have your first months of 2018 games with gold.
And I guess let us know how those two games are.
Yeah, definitely. Particularly Van Helsing. I mean, I have to ask Nick because he has Xbox. See what he thinks about that.
So my next one is from VentureBeat, and don't you hate it when your strongest outfit in a role-playing game looks ridiculous?
Especially for the ladies that wear like nothing but bikinis.
So now Elder Scrolls Online, they're going to launch a big update that's free for all platforms in February, which will introduce some new features like customizing your character's outfit.
Okay.
They still keep the same stats. You just customize it so it doesn't look ridiculous anymore.
Make it make it look like an actual piece of armor.
Yeah.
Wow, well, that's good.
Or color palettes, because
Color swaps. Yeah.
you know how sometimes, especially Destiny,
Yeah. Wink, wink.
yeah, there will also be a paid game pack called Dragon Bones, which will release on that same day, and it'll give players access to 2 new dungeons along with the battle with an undead dragon.
Oh, okay. Right.
And this is a a free
Update.
free update, and the game you don't require a subscription, but they do have that premium stuff
package.
if you want to get it.
Oh, gotcha. Some DLC or
So, yeah,
microtransactions or something.
pretty much. So if you buy it, you buy it. You
Yeah.
know, it's free.
It gets it for you. Gotcha. Good stuff. All right, my last piece that I have here, because I didn't really plan much else here. PlayStation Plus games. So PlayStation Plus games for the month of January have also been announced, and they're all currently available right now. Available from January 2nd to February 6th. So go to PSN and download these. First one
Please do.
is the first season of Batman, the Telltale series game, which actually began in 2016, August 2016. The last one just concluded in the end of that year. So not that old of a game. They're already doing season 2. So right here, before even jumping into season 2, get to season 1, chances are all the bugs and stuff with that damn engine have been fixed.
Hopefully, and I guess for all those trophy hunters, that's an easy platinum.
It is always an easy platinum. The other PS4 game for January is a big one.
It is
Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. I was a little shocked when I saw that. I was like, "Whoa, okay."
I almost stopped any games that I was playing. Like, okay, these are all on hold, so I can play these two.
Yep. Those are pretty big games right there for January. PS4 owners will also be able to get the January's PlayStation Vita games, Cowardly Creations' Uncanny Valley, and 5PB's Psycho Pass Mandatory Happiness. I'm not sure of any of those games, but they are free. They are also cross-buy, so if you have a Vita, you'll get them for free both on Vita and for PlayStation 4. The two games of the month for the PlayStation 3 are Keen Games' Sacred 3 and King Art Games' The Book of Unwritten Tales 2. Two other games that I've never heard of. Clearly, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel here a little bit for the PlayStation 3. I wonder when do you think they're going to stop with the PlayStation 3 free games?
Did they discontinue the console itself already? Mm-hmm. No?
But they're not releasing anything new, and I think they've kind of...
I think by this year, they're going to just discontinue it. Yeah, but I think they're still doing it because, a lot of people are probably giving their kids
still buying, yeah.
to,
Wait, I wonder if they stopped. Let me look that up. I think maybe they did stop the
yeah,
production.
I thought they did.
Yeah.
But maybe this year or sometime within the next couple of years, they'll probably stop the service altogether.
Well, for PS3.
Yeah.
PS3. Yeah, maybe, because the last few months have not been kind to that poor system when it comes to the free games.
I think the reason is that they're almost done with their whole library for the PS3.
It could be, and then all the big ones I think have already passed through, and they're not porting anything to it either. So, the PlayStation 3. That's a shame. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so that's those are the free games. I haven't even got a chance to do it yet, but I need to go in and do the two big ones there.
It should be
Batman and Deus Ex.
If you just go into the PlayStation Store, it should be like the front page.
I'm sure. I just haven't got around to it. Yeah.
You already have your phone too, in case.
I know, but I'll be a little professional and wait till after the show.
So, I know I said that from what I said previously from a Elder Scrolls article.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to buy the game. I just meant that it's
a free update to it.
Yeah, free update and no subscription. That's what I meant by that.
Gotcha.
This one's another from VentureBeat, and it's Overwatch stuff. I know.
It's okay. Hit it.
This is a PTR update. And we're going to be having some nerfs to Mercy and Junkrat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, they're constantly... I don't think they're ever going to get it right. They're constantly moving stuff around.
Always, because there's always new characters, so they have to try and balance it out. So Mercy's ultimate now, in the PTR, will only last 15 seconds. She won't get an extra revive charge, because it's kind of a bummer.
Oh, wow.
Because I usually use that a lot. And bringing an ally back to life while she's flying still has a short cast time, and her speed boost during the ultimate is 50% slower.
Oh, man.
So if she's not, behind somebody, you get destroyed very easily.
I wonder how often people go in not knowing that they've been they've been, changed. The character that they love to death has been changed, and then they suddenly use it. What the hell's going on with my character?
I can tell you right now that never happens.
No, that everybody's on top of it.
Everybody
knows. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Everyone knows. Unless you haven't played the game in months, but everyone knows. And let's see. Oh, yeah. So Junkrat now, because we know he has 2 concussive mines. Now his mines have a fall-off damage, meaning they hurt less the further a player is away from them when they explode.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of people kept complaining about his double mines.
They were OP?
More of the fact that he just had more of them.
More of them?
Really.
And they just do damage no matter what.
Yeah, because everyone would throw one, detonate, and then throw the second one. And I don't remember the cost time for it, but I knew it was short.
It was short. Wow. You okay there?
Yeah. I'm
How's that throat of yours?
Well, now that you gave me cough syrup, I'm a little better.
Oh, okay.
Not
good.
dying.
You're welcome. That's what this house is. We come here to have beer, food, and medicinal products.
Not that medicinal.
No, not that medicinal. The good stuff. I do have one more piece that it should be no shock to anyone. But Game of Thrones, the final season, has been announced, and it will be coming in 2019.
I could wait a year.
That's BS. I can't wait a year. I've already waited a year. It was like a year ago that it came. No, it wasn't a year ago.
Well, I got to catch up one, and I also recently bought the first book, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, hey. But this thing, I wouldn't even, like, part of me doesn't want to do the books because it's like George R. R. Martin's never going to finish them. The show's going to be finished. It'll be finished years before the next book comes out.
It's a nice little piece to have in a collection.
A collector's
really.
item. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Just
But
don't
I do
expect
like
an ending
reading,
because I think these guys who made this show are going to end up being the ones that finish the books.
Oh, probably. Or he'll probably send it off to somebody else to finish it.
Maybe.
I know some authors do that.
Maybe. Oh, a lot of them don't let it go, but still,
Yeah,
maybe.
but some do.
Yeah.
Some will let somebody else, if health issues and all that, they'll just give it to somebody else to keep it going.
He's just been traveling around. That's what he's been doing. He needs to go home, start writing this book, or finish writing, because he's on book 6 now, and there's supposed to be another one after this.
Yeah, I know that. If you remember the girl with the dragon tattoo, the author couldn't finish it because I don't remember if he got sick or passed away.
Oh, wow.
So they were only able to do 3 books, and then other people took over.
Oh, so the story continued.
Yeah, the story
I
continues.
didn't know that. Okay, I saw. I didn't read the books, but I saw the films. There are some interesting films. Let me tell
Very
you.
good.
Yeah, I really enjoy those. But yeah, so 2019, guys, we have to wait. Unfortunately. You have any other pieces there?
I'm trying to look. No, I don't think I do.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our hot topic of the week. All right, guys. So we're going to go into our hot topic of the week.
Hot topic.
Yes.
We'll still do that even if he's not here.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
But if I'm not here, somebody got to do it.
Somebody has to do it. Yes, we'll do it for you. I assure you. Guys, I posted the hot topic a little bit late. Like I said, I had to rearrange stuff because a certain gentleman, he went off to Mexico in a cruise, and he's just enjoying the warmth while we're freezing our asses off here in Florida. I see how it is. So the hot topic that I did have for this week, we will post up for next week. No worries on that. But this week, I did put something up which I had pocketed for before because I figured this was a very interesting one. A little website called whatculture.com, one of the websites I tend to frequent, had a nice little top 10 list of the biggest video game mistakes ever made by, or gaming company mistakes. And so I want to go through these because, first off, they are big. There are some really massive ones. And also, I want to see what's the likelihood of this type of thing ever happening again for the companies that remain currently. So I'm starting from the top. There was a time, believe it or not, that the PlayStation was going to come together as an add-on CD-ROM for the Super Nintendo. Do you recall this?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yes. So their number one biggest mistake, another one, excuse me, I'm going from 10 to 1. Number 10 is Nintendo not making the PlayStation with Sony. And if you take a look, this is what the NES PlayStation would have looked like. It's an interesting little box. It's almost as if you take...
Yeah, if I remember... sorry about that. If I remember reading that it would play CDs and cartridges.
And cartridges, yes. It has a look to it that's very similar. It's almost like if you were to take the first PlayStation and combine it, like if the two, Super Nintendo and a PS1 had a baby, this would be what that baby looked like. It was unveiled, at Sony by Sony at CES in 1991, and it seemed like everything was going to pretty much go and happen. And unfortunately, out of the blue, Nintendo realized that they're not going to do it. It's not going to happen, and for whatever reasoning, it never happened. It never came to be.
Could have just been like the hardware, really.
Well, I mean, it's just a couple of different things that were happening at the time. But that said, that opened the door for Sony to say, all right, fine, we won't combine ourselves with Nintendo. We'll just take over Nintendo. And since then, I mean, as you know, they made their own console. And
they've also had some games from Nintendo onto their PlayStation, like, I guess, the most...
Well, made a first-party ones, yeah, but definitely third-party. I mean, think about how long Nintendo had the Final Fantasy series, and this, if I'm not mistaken, this was supposed to come. Final Fantasy VII was supposed to come to this system. Instead, I guess there was a deal with Square and Square Soft at the time, and nope, made it over to Sony's new PlayStation console, and the rest, as they say, is history.
You know, if you think about it, though, since they didn't combine, now Nintendo's like, all right, we want all third party.
Yeah, well, they're trying
all third party.
Yeah, they've been trying forever.
It's like, we'll make the console, but bring the games over.
But bring the games, yeah. All I know is I kind of agree. That was quite a mistake for Nintendo. Although I don't know if it would have worked out for them, because other people who had that combination type system didn't really work out. But either way, it definitely worked out for Sony. I think right now,
to branch out a bit.
And I think
the
PlayStation brand under the Sony is probably the most popular thing. Like that's their money maker. They don't they're not making nearly as much money on their TVs and whatever else.
They have TVs, sound systems.
Yeah, but I was saying they're not making
stuff, but
money on that like
much.
they do on this. Yeah,
because when it comes to TVs, it's LG and Samsung. So
yeah, Samsung's best ones. So number 9, keeping it on Nintendo. The number 9 biggest mistake is the N64 sticking with cartridges while everybody else was going discs. Right around that same time, the Nintendo 64 came out after the Super Nintendo. Cartridges, if I remember correctly, were like a good $80. This is what they were per game. And while I mean, I can't say that it
had its pros and cons.
It did. I mean, it should have had faster loading times, and for the most part, it did. That said, the high cost made those cartridges more expensive. I mean,
the plastic.
Yeah,
the
all
plastic
of it, everything that's in it, the chips,
plastic.
The memory, all that you have to put in, the battery packs if it came with it, all that added to a much higher priced game. While discs, they were able to get for, if I remember at the time, it's like $3 a disc.
Yeah, because you probably had those when making it. You probably had companies just buying the stack discs,
and it cost them like $3 per disc, and they can put the game on it. And you figure $3 it costs them for a disc. They sell a game at what, $45-50? I think they were selling at the time. That's profit. Here they're costing the cartridges. If I'm not mistaken, were costing like anywhere between $25 to $30 per cartridge. So they were having to sell it at higher just to make the money back. And this is. Everybody was jumping ship to discs, but Nintendo said, nope, we're going to stick with cartridges. And I think it hurt them.
They still did.
I know, I was going to say, they came back with the Switch with cartridges.
Smarter.
Yes, much smarter.
But
how big are those cartridges?
They are maybe if I'm not mistaken, a few centimeters smaller than the 3DS.
Oh, I don't even know how big
Yeah,
are
they're-
those? Well, I mean, what's compared to like a stamp? Is it bigger than a stamp? Smaller than a
I
stamp.
want to say it's a little bigger than
Okay.
a stamp, but the Switch games are probably as big as a stamp or a little bigger.
Okay. Okay. So
But
yeah.
I guess a pro from those cartridges though is that they won't get scratched. Because once a disc gets scratched like badly, it's
Back
done.
in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what made me not rent games. I used to rent games when Blockbuster was still around.
Oh yeah, I did too. I've gotten
But
badly
when they
scratched.
correct
before.
when they were badly scratched, it's like I bring it back. Like this didn't even work for me. You know what I mean? That used to piss me off.
Even now, because sometimes I will do pre-owned at GameStop, not often. But now I'll be like, let me see the disc. Because I've had a game before, I think it was Need for Speed, where I had to exchange it because I got the game and it wasn't working because it was scratched.
Really? Okay. I haven't. I've heard. I haven't bought something used in a long time, but I've heard that because the discs are Blu-ray and they're a little bit more durable and they can resist some scratches. Obviously, they can't resist falls and stuff like that, but you know, they for the most part they can resist minor scratches. So I don't know if that's a big thing nowadays, but it was a big thing for PlayStation 1, PlayStation
And
2.
I know there are people who will purposely scratch their own disc for whatever reason.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh,
I don't know, it's
strange.
just burning money.
Okay.
So, but yeah, whenever I go and I'll pre-own a game, I'll ask them if they have any other copies. If it's just one, I'll be like, all right, I'll look at it. If I don't like it, I'll just be like, I'll find me another store.
I know, sorry. Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, always look at your disc if you're buying pre-owned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They actually there's a big market right now for the what was the Sega Dreamcast for people still selling those games. That was another one where it was like a shame if you get that scratch, it's done. But yeah, nowadays, like I said, it's not from what I understand, it's not that big a deal. But still, interesting decision. Number 8 on their list is Interplay decides to make a PlayStation 2 game instead of Fallout 3. So, for those who don't know, Interplay was the original the original people who were working on Fallout 1, Fallout 2. They're the ones who brought that game into fruition, essentially, into life, gave life to the Fallout world. But if you know, when you get to Fallout 3, that's not Interplay, that's Bethesda. So obviously there was a mix-up there, and so Interplay decided to move on and do a PlayStation 2 game because it was popular around that time, and eventually it looks like they ended up getting into some financial troubles, and they had to sell off their IP to Bethesda, and they ran away with it. I mean, Fallout series is probably one of the biggest series out there, and Fallout 3, probably my favorite of all that. I haven't played. What's the one that came out after Fallout 3? No, after 3. New Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, I haven't played New Vegas. I heard that's really good, but I've never played it.
Makes you wonder though, because I know the original Fallouts were turn-based, so it makes you wonder if they're going to continue doing that. If they
had kept it, yeah, they probably would have. I mean, they probably moved with the times. They probably wouldn't have jumped to the 3D world that Fallout 3 was. But that
But
said,
it became a hit, though.
it did became a hit, a major hit. I mean, part 2 of Fallout versus part 3 of Fallout are night and day when it comes to how big they are and how much money they probably made for Bethesda there. But unfortunately, Interplay is no longer with us. But Bethesda's out there still making that Fallout money, printing it in their back. Oh, okay. Number 7. I'm sorry, I just realized it. Number 7 on the list of biggest mistakes. John Romero trying to make you his bitch. Do you
That's
recall
new to
this?
me. No,
Okay.
that's
All
new to
right.
me.
So a little story about the guys who made Doom. John Romero is one of the original makers of Doom, Wolfenstein, and all this. he ended up branching off into his own thing to do his own game. And he was a little bit of a rock star, or acted like a little bit of a rock star, really just arrogant and did what he wanted. And he had this game that he was going to make called Daikatana. And Daikatana, the what do you call it? The marketing. The marketing was all about how John Romero was going to make you his bitch. And clearly, that's not what people wanted to hear.
When was that though?
Oh gosh, this was. Let me see what they have the time here. Let me just look up Daikatana.
Because it was like, if it was like early back then now people wouldn't be like, all right, do it.
Well, I guess maybe. Let me see. Daikatana came out 2000, May 24th of 2000.
Yeah. Nowadays people are like, all right, that's
yes.
I'll be in that.
Sure.
Nowadays,
You can make me your bitch. That said, if you saw the advertising, it wasn't flattering. Plus, images of the gameplay also wasn't very flattering. The game ended up being not good. So it was kind of a slap in the face. It was like slapping you in the face by saying, you're going to love this game. You know what I mean? And then they hand you this game and it's crap. And you're like, what the hell, dude? I just got slapped for no reason, and then you handed me a shit game.
It's like you got slapped, and then you got slapped again by the game.
By the game, yeah. Exactly. So you got bitch slapped by two things. Exactly. So
that's not fun.
No, it's not at all. Yeah. So it only sold about 200,000 copies, which I guess at
That's
the time is
still a lot.
not too bad considering a small thing.
Yeah, that's
that
still a
said, the marketing on it is what really left. It was expected to sell more than that, for the record. But
honestly, I thought I would have sold less.
tanked. Well, in comparison, yes. Number 6. Oh man, this is a big one. Number 6, the unveiling of the Xbox One. Oh my God, was that year not just horrible for Microsoft?
It was because the PlayStation came out, like they came out sort of in the same year, maybe?
No, same exact year.
Yeah, same year. So everyone's still on the high of this console. That when this came out, they're like, whatever.
So, well, no, it's referring to the unveil, not the actual release, the unveiling. So I remember that year. Oh my God, 2013, guys. Let me tell you, February. I think no, at the beginning. This is how it all. I know this so well. The beginning of the year, they were game media sites were asking both sides, hey, when are you expecting to release the next console? When should we see the new Xbox or the new PlayStation 4? Sony, somebody in Sony's camp, I can't remember who, was upfront about it, saying, you know what, we're okay. We're going to let Microsoft go first. We're not in a rush. This was towards the beginning of 2013, right? Then, or maybe it was toward the end of 2012. At the beginning of 2013, there's a press release from Sony saying that they have an event that they're holding in February of that year. Stay tuned, or it's going to be here, whatever. And that's when they unveil the PlayStation 4. They don't show the console, but they unveil the PlayStation 4. Mark Cerny's out there. He's talking about it. They got these video about, what do the developers want? And I remember seeing this. I'm going, wow, this is amazing. But I knew Sony, so I didn't have much. I took everything with a grain of salt, Suddenly, as soon as that was over, weeks pass. Nothing from Microsoft. It's like not even a, hey, we got things planned. Nothing. Just absolute silence. It's like, holy crap, guys, are you going to do anything? I remember right after that, there were people saying, oh, yeah, now that Sony's done it, you can expect it. Give it about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Microsoft will be out here with their console. It wasn't until right before E3 that it was
Yes.
finally unveiled.
I remember that because then they wanted to show off their demos.
Yes, and they were talking about all the TV, and then Call of Duty, and then TV, and then
Kinect.
Halo, and then Connect, and then you can talk to, you can make it change a channel, you can hey Connect, record, or Microsoft or whatever it was, Xbox record, whatever, and then the DRM. Then you can't share games, but if you share them, you have to share them in a certain way. You have to be your friends. I think it had to be like your friends or family. You have to have a friend. It was the most ridiculous, crazy DRM shit.
Then yeah.
And then they
It
come
was a
out.
lot.
Then E3 happens, and then at that point, or maybe that was all about the same time. So
Yeah, it was all
about the same
and then
time.
they
yeah.
showed off the screen capture and recording and all that.
Yes, and then of course Sony just drops the bomb on them with how you share a game for Sony, and you have Shuhei Yoshida out there, and then he just passes him a game and go, there you go, that's how you share a game for Sony, and forget it. And then on top of that, E3 for Sony, PlayStation's E3 conference had, I can't remember his name, but he was Jack Tretton was out there, and he was talking about, we're not going to have any DRM. If you want to have used games, we don't care. Forget it. It was ridiculous. And they were never, ever, 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 ever able to get out from under that. They have been stuck in that hole that they dug themselves. While they have risen a bit from there, there was just no coming back. There was no coming back from them. And here we are 4 or 5 years later, still no coming back from them. It's a shame. They literally
The One X was not too bad. I think they've learned a bit with the One X.
I think my problem with the One X is I think it is an answer to a problem that really nobody cared about. Like they're saying we're going to make the biggest powerful console, and it's like, well, we don't care if you're a powerful console. We want you to have games.
Exactly.
So it's like they're answering it's the weirdest thing. So yeah.
Well, especially since they want to compete with, because they're always competing with Sony. So they want, they brought in the next
The
thing.
Pro, yeah, the PS Pro,
We're going to bring something too.
yeah.
And then that's going to be going on for a bit. And then they're going to have a completely whole new console eventually.
Probably pretty soon.
Probably.
A lot sooner than I think we probably would think. But yeah, so number 6, unveiling of the Xbox. You might as well just call that number 6, 2013 for Microsoft, and that pretty much settles that. Bad year for you guys. But number 5, the Sega Mega CD and 32X.
Oh my God, I remember that. I think we had one.
Oh
we
my
just never
God.
used that block part of it.
The block, yes.
'Cause I remember it was detachable.
It is, yeah. It was detachable because you had your regular Genesis games underneath. Then you had your 32X games that you had to put that thing on top and right into so that it can make the 32X games play. And then you had the Sega CD that you would take all of that and put it on top of, so it became this huge, ridiculous piece of plastic that was sitting on your.
I don't think we really ever used the attachment to
the
it.
attachment. Yeah.
I remember we had a Sega, but
Yes. So, believe it or not, add-ons for game consoles was a big thing back then. Didn't always work. Sega CD was big on the whole full motion video games. That's where Night Trap first was shown, and a bunch of other full motion video games, most of which were not really good. But it was like crazy. Oh man, we have like real, video in a game, and all this stuff. Honestly, none of that stuff would ever.
Everyone's minds at the time.
No, it didn't do anything. It wasn't moving. The whole problem with, if you wanted, here's the deal. Let's say you didn't have a console, or let's say you had Nintendo. You said, you know what, I'm going to buy this game, but I want to get the 32X version. Okay, well, in order for you to use the 32X version, you need to first buy a Genesis. Then you need to go buy a 32X thing, which was almost the price of another console. If you had the Sega CD game, you got to do the same. You still need to have the Genesis and then get the Sega CD. So it became this thing where games were being blocked buy all these add-ons. You know what I mean? It's like so weird.
That is like microtransaction at its earliest stage.
This is microtransactions on your console versus your games. Yes, exactly.
But I'm sure people were kind of wowed out by the games once they've gotten over that mess.
Yeah. I don't think anybody, well, I don't know of anybody who had it that complained about it. It was just not an easy buy-in, especially, I mean, we were all young at the time, particularly, I remember having to do it. So, or, being young at when this was being released. But yeah, number 5, Sega Mega CD and 32X. May they rest in peace because they're not coming back. Number 4 continues the Sega disasters. Sega releases the Sega Saturn out of nowhere in the U.S. Do you remember this?
I don't think I was around during that time.
Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure you were alive, if that's what you mean. So, the Saturn, the Saturn, essentially was announced at E3 and was available that day. It was like the weirdest thing that ever happened.
That is weird, because then everyone's like,
yeah.
I want to watch E3, but this new console just came out.
Correct. Yeah.
What do I choose?
Yes. What that ended up doing was really, really pissing the hell off of the people who sell it, the retailers. Because normally, when you make a console, you plan in advance to have a certain amount available for them. But by not saying nothing, retailers got like nothing. None of the money early on got any. None of those retailers made any of the money early on. The Sega Saturn was also $400, and if you didn't know where to get it from, you couldn't get it from your Walmart, you couldn't get it from your wherever you normally get it from. So that made it much more difficult to move units. So if you're announcing the units, the console's ready to go, and here it is, and no one knows where to get it from. You know what I mean? It was the weirdest decision the Sega ever. One of the weirdest decisions.
Maybe this is why they stopped making consoles.
Yeah, clearly they don't know how to launch consoles. So maybe just get out of the console market race there. But yeah, that's number 4. I remember that. Again, I wasn't a Sega kid. It's a shame that Dream Twister's not here because he was a Sega kid. And I can imagine his frustration with this.
The only thing I remember playing a lot that I remember, because I remember playing the Genesis, but I do remember heavily playing the Dreamcast. We did have that.
The Dreamcast?
Yes.
Dreamcast was nice.
It was good.
I loved the Dreamcast.
I did too, but it didn't have many games, and then it was competing with
they had Crazy
2
Taxi.
other. Yes.
They had
Sonic.
They had I wasn't a big Sonic guy, but they had Sonic. They had one of my favorite games. And the name slips me now. Oh my gosh! Skies Over Arcadia. Oh, that was so good. Power Stone. Do you remember Power Stone? I remember that. It was like an
they
arena
have
fighter.
a good handful of good games, but
yeah, it was.
overall,
I enjoyed
not so
it.
much.
I enjoyed that. Number 3. Speaking of the Dreamcast, Sega choosing GD-ROMs over DVDs for the Dreamcast. So, first, I'm not entirely sure what GD-ROMs are. That said, I do know that the big mistake there was not going with DVDs. So
I think
around that
maybe,
time,
a GD-ROM is probably a lower processing CD.
oh, it's a non-movie playing. So it's a non-movie. It's a low capacity non-movie playing
Because
ROM.
if you remember when that came out, that was also I think the start of DVDs. Too.
Correct. Shortly before it, and I remember everybody. I think this is why we're never going to see a console make the same or sell as much as PlayStation 2 is the highest console selling console of all time. Number 2, and it's like 155 million, something ridiculous. Number 2 is the Wii, which it's like 101, 102 million. And now, I'm not sure what the numbers are for everybody else, but the point is 155 million. I guarantee you that at least half of that is because the PlayStation 2 was the cheapest DVD player that you can find, even at $300.
Don't don't forget, it was also a music player too.
Yeah, but people were buying it because DVDs were now the thing. It's like, man, we
I
can get
remember
movies
that
on disc.
one of the first few, like I knew that for a fact because one of the first few DVDs that came out was Finding Nemo, and my brother loved that movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And to be able to, so the whole deal is that at the time, DVD players were new. And they were costing $500, $600. Like the high end ones were like $500-$600. Or hey, you can get a PlayStation 2. It's only $300, and guess what? It also plays a DVD. So
And then they came out with the slim.
the little
cheaper.
mini ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
still have one.
the tiny one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And you know what?
They were
Get
so
this.
fragile.
Is that
Or felt
the
fragile.
PS2 like wire is still the same as the PlayStation 4.
Really? Mm-hmm. You can still use it?
Yeah, you can still use it. That the plug wire.
Yeah,
not the box itself, obviously, but the plug wire is the same.
Oh, that's interesting. I never even noticed that.
Yeah,
I don't have. Actually, maybe I do. Somewhere I may have a
it's the same
PlayStation 2.
as the 2, the 3, and the 4. They're all the same. So you can, I guess, if one's broken, just
Swap them.
interchange them.
Interesting. But yeah, so that was a bad choice on their part, and I would dare say that's because Dreamcast was Sega's last console. I would dare say that's what kind of did them in. I think they were only, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have the stats here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were only selling them for like 9 months before they decided to stop the Dreamcast. It was pretty harsh. But yeah, I remember that. That was that's what I'm trying to say, that I don't think any console will ever reach 155 millions, because it's just, it's no point now, and with the rise of digital movies and stuff like that, you don't even need to have something that reads discs. So yeah, I don't think it's ever going to get up there. But I think that helped to bolster their sales significantly. So that's number 3. Number 2, oh man, I'm sure everybody remembers this: lack of quality control in the 80s gaming market.
See, I don't, because I was born after that.
But I'm sure you've heard of the video game crash of 83, I think it was. No?
No,
So
no.
what happened?
Parents weren't that. They're more into like arcade gaming.
Arcade
so,
at the time? Okay.
yeah.
So the video game crash that happened in 1983, that's when I think is when it actually happened. Essentially happened like this. The consoles at the time were the Atari, 2600, 50, whatever. They were not locked to where they were not locked like now. Like right now, we can't just go in. I guess maybe we could, but we can be severely sued if we did this. We can't go in and make a game on a PlayStation and just sell it, on a Sony. Like right now, I can't go make a PlayStation 4 game and sell it so you can play on your PlayStation 4, because one, Sony has to approve it, otherwise they'll sue me and God knows what else. Right? At that time, it wasn't like that. So people were making. Think of perfect example. Think of Steam right now.
Oh yeah, with the green light.
How many bad games are on Steam right now? So imagine a console where people will make games, put them on a cartridge, and sell them in the store, and you can play them on your Atari.
The bootlegs that you find.
Exactly. So they'll make like 500 copies of this game on plastic, on little plastic cartridges, sell them at the store. Game companies were spending a bunch of money to make a game for this console, selling it at $40. You're making this cheap little game just to get people to buy it. You're selling it like $10. Parents are coming into the store. They don't know the difference. They'll go with the cheaper one. So all these games that are being professionally made by developers are not selling.
No.
And all these crap games are just flooding the market. This is before Nintendo came out, by the way. Nintendo was the first one, and they put the whole seal of quality and all this on their games. Like you knew you were buying a Nintendo game, and it was quality game, and you could not make a cartridge for their system without going through them. So that's what they mean. The lack of quality control in the 80s gaming market almost wiped out video games forever. You know what I mean? Because it was done at that point. People were pulling out. Atari was dying. There was a bunch of stuff going on.
Oh yeah, because it's like just you and I can just literally sit there, make a quick 10-minute game.
Steam. It's exactly how Steam is happening right now. It's almost, it's funny how it just dawned on me as I'm talking to you about it. I'm like, it's almost the exact same thing. I'm like,
It is,
why is
but
not
I've
Steam not
noticed-
getting on top of this?
I think they are, but they've been trying to get all that bloatware, like, you know, those R-rated games that always end up popping. They're trying to get rid of that. And also the whole money thing, too.
Oh, yeah, well, they're making money. I think that's what the deal is. They're
Yeah.
making money, which is why they're like, we'll let it happen.
Yeah, that's why I don't really, like, go on Steam. Like, I would, like, of games that I know are good, but I won't just go and look at some game I've never heard of. And
Yeah. No, I agree.
and reviews are a very important thing on Steam.
They are. They are. Number 1 on the list, the Nintendo Wii U.
Oh, man.
Oh, where do we begin with this bad boy? Well, I mean, a lot can be said here. First off, poor marketing. The name alone
Very poor marketing.
screwed it up. They're like, is this a additional unit? Like, is
Yeah.
it an add-on?
That's why. A
Yeah.
lot of people, even now, because I still haven't had to explain to my mom, like, no, you have the gamepad like the Switch, but the Switch itself is its own unit. And then you have this little black box, because mine's black, and that, where you put the disc in, that's the console. It's just this is just like your extra screen.
Yeah, but well,
It's a controller / screen.
The Switch though is I mean, the Switch makes more sense. It's easy to say. It's a console that you carry along with you. It has its own screen. You can plug it into the thing so you can watch on the TV, or you just take it along with you. The problem with the Wii U was everybody had a Wii, so they're like, why do we need this? It looked the same. It was a little bit more powerful. I think it went into 1080 finally. It was, while I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Wii was 480, wasn't it? It wasn't even 720.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was standard def. So
Because that was also around the time we had the HD quality 1080p.
I think they could have called it Wii HD, and that would have sold more units. They're like, oh, well, this is an HD version. I'll get that. But people didn't know. People kept seeing this gamepad for the Wii U going, oh, that's just a gamepad. I don't need that. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not just a gamepad. It's a whole new console.
The thing is, though, is that like I played it because it did have some good games on it, like Mario Kart, obviously, Super Smash Brothers. It
Well, first party is
also-
always gonna be good.
Monster Hunter was on there too.
Yeah. Well, I guess not. That's first part. That's what
It's not,
Capcom,
but
yeah.
it was on there, and really was like
They had
really-
like no third party support, zero
Yeah.
third party. It was
there was
all
some third
first party.
There was some third party, like
In the
You
beginning.
did have Batman, all, but they were all horrendous.
Oh,
Very
in the
bad.
beginning,
Yeah.
the port of Arkham City, right, or Arkham Knight? No,
Arkham- one of the
Asylum.
Arkham-
Yeah, one of the Arkham games.
And it was
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah,
All
I
of them were
remember that.
bad. And and also the gamepad itself, it's just when you feel it, you can feel that it's meant for a small kid's hands.
Oh, the Wii U gamepad.
Like there's no, because you know, like your regular controls, you can just wrap your hands around it. You know, no issues. This, you know, it's you wrap your hands around the bumps in the back of it, and that's it. And you know, playing that for a while, your hands can cramp from that. So it's
I
meant
played
for
just a
like
little bit of it,
kids.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like it. Nice concept, but I can see that they learned a lot with the Switch and just let it as a unit itself.
Right now, I think the final estimates on units sold are around 14 million for lifetime of the Wii U. The Switch is not even out for a year. It came out in March.
30 million now?
No,
No,
it's,
no
it
more.
just hit 10 million.
Yeah, there you go. I'm
and then-
thinking of something completely different.
Yeah, it's just hit 10 million, and then so you figure it just hit 10 million in the holidays. So you figure it's a little bit more than that now. It's not even a year out. It's March. It'll be a year,
I can
an
tell you
anniversary.
right now, it's hard to find a Switch.
Oh, I thought it was easier now because of the additional push that they made in production. But I guess
Yes,
I haven't
yeah.
I haven't actually looked.
I
so.
remember when we went and got one at GameStop. That was the last one.
Oh yeah, but that was
that rush, but still, even now, like we'll see how,
We'll see how it
since
comes out for.
the rush is died down a bit. We'll see how many units they'll have now
Definitely.
until summer.
But the Wii U, an unfortunate mistake for Nintendo. I think they were a little bit arrogant after what happened to the Wii. I think they don't realize that that's another one that made 102 million, and I think personally that was another inflated number because you had nursing homes buying this. You had
I think
my own
'cause
job.
the
Because of the motion control. My own
Also-
job had one, and I'm like, what is this? So
because everyone's like, because they're all about, you gotta get fit, gotta move around.
yeah, the fit.
gotta just sit
Oh,
there.
remember the pad that you walk on? Yeah, no, that was a Wii though. But
Also, I think also it flopped because with the Wii you could play your Wii games, but it was also backwards compatibility with the GameCube.
the GameCube, correct? You had a whole GameCube library.
So with the Wii U, there
was
was
not-
no
it was not
backwards
backwards compatible?
No,
Look at that.
so I
Wow.
think that's also why
That's a
people are like,
mistake,
why should I buy the next one when?
Yeah, I agree.
This
I mean, it
one's
had
still
good
good.
games, but yeah. So number one, the Nintendo Wii U. I kind of like this list. I don't disagree with anything. I should say
No,
I don't
definitely
disagree.
not.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think I would have probably changed a few of the order here, but I mean, I guess if you look at it,
The
It
Wii
looks
U
like
is
they-
still going to be number one.
yeah. When you think about losses, like which of these mistakes cost the company more money? Wii U probably was a big. I mean, 14 million units. That's all they sold. Barely any games on top of that.
I think that's why, from that flop, I think that is why Nintendo paid so much attention to 3DS.
For their Switch. Yeah.
Just the 3DS in
Oh,
general.
the three. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, they had no choice. They had no choice. They're like,
I think that's
it's not
why, and
going
they're
anywhere.
they're still paying attention to it because there are people who still play it.
But they have to let it go. They want the Switch to really flourish. They have to let it go.
They also have to, pay mind that the Switch is also considered a mobile console.
It is. Well, it is.
They call
but
it a
most
home.
People,
No,
yeah, most
they-
people use it as a
the
regular console, though.
Company themselves literally said this is a home console.
Home console. Yeah.
But it should have but with mobile
Well, mobile.
capabilities.
Yeah. So, before we end the topic, do you think any of these companies are destined to repeat these dumbass mistakes? I hope Microsoft learned this lesson and doesn't come with.
I was gonna say maybe Microsoft because they've been on the fence.
I think they've been humbled by
Yeah.
that.
I do hope they learn a bit because
Yeah.
I know that they didn't start really getting to the game business until after the PlayStation 2.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
that's when the Xbox came out.
Xbox, yeah.
So even though it's been a while, it still feels like they're new to this whole thing.
Well, this is their third, right? Third console, third major console.
Yeah, they're
Yeah. So we'll see. I think they'll do fine. They got a long road ahead of them, though.
I know Nintendo definitely.
I think Nintendo's back. I mean, I think they're
Definitely, yeah.
I think they seriously bounced back from the Wii U. I think they learned their lesson there. They learned their lesson, but they're still not scared of innovating, and that
No.
much I got to
Definitely
tip
not.
my hat to them because they're doing stupendous right now.
They've just been doing, going on their merry way while Sony and Microsoft keep fighting.
Yeah. All right, guys. We got a couple comments here, so let's try to bring it in. And actually, just one comment from our very own Jason Fariello. He says, if we're talking about the biggest blunders, we cannot forget about the Virtual Boy. My God, he's absolutely right. Why is the Virtual Boy not on this list? We got to talk about one of being the biggest flops in gaming. I won't lie. I would I won't lie. I would but a Virtual Boy Classic, if they were ever to make it, he would buy it, basically. Why the hell not? Let's see. There's my gosh, a novel here that he loves to write. It's okay, Jason. You can keep writing these novels. Don't know if this can be considered one of the biggest blunders, but Steam, as much as I love Steam and all its PC race glossiness, it's the fact that we are getting so much shovelware games. It's not even funny. Steam store has grown so much that all the shit that has been added to it, this is like the Atari 2600 all over again. That's exactly what we were saying, right? After the Atari lost their lawsuit, everyone and their mother started making games for the system, cloning games, shitty games, games that really didn't work. Pretty much what Steam is right now for a while. Now is the modern day problem to what happened many years ago that led to the famous 1983 video game crash. So it was 1983. Which chance of that happening is so low now? But it's still a major problem. It's causing good devs, indie devs, and such to be pushed aside with less and less exposure while these games keep flooding Steam. And Valve has done very little about trying to fix these problems, even though they claim to be working on it. So that is absolutely right. That is a problem. And it can be the next big video game blunder that ends up happening if they don't fix it. But yeah, the Virtual Boy. I can't even believe I didn't mention that. But that's a good one there, too. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of the real episode 89 of GG's The Mouthful podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. As always, please like, subscribe, and share to the podcast and share with your friends. I'm going to go kick around this audio equipment of ours, make sure it works for next time. I apologize for the raspiness. But we'll always, nothing stops the signal, guys. That's the most important part. We were here messing with it for half an hour, and you were like, you know what? We're just going to do it, and we'll worry about this next week.
I was going to say, we could be flooding and find some way
yes,
to do it.
We did that here in the dark when we had no AC. We didn't want to turn the lights on. So, yes, that's how we do, guys. So this is Arnaldo signing off for this week. No, not Mrs. Miss.
I was about to say,
Shadow 24/7. Oh, take us home.
Oh, man. I hope everyone had a safe New Year's.
Definitely. I hope so, too.
Enjoyed.
Didn't drink too much. Take things control. We're all getting old here, guys. None of this partying to break it down.
And also bundling up because it's been cold outside.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So everyone bundle up.
Definitely.
Be safe.
Be safe out there. All right, guys. So we'll see you next week. GG!